Isn't that crazy? And you have all these people that are like literally spreading their legs in the morning and filming themselves sunning their taint. You don't have to do that. Okay guys, I am back at the walking trail, and oh my god, this hill, this starter hill, always gets me. Let me turn it around so you can see the whole voyage. I mean, trust me, it is so much steeper in person. Let me actually get through this first, and then we'll start chatting. So it's Wednesday of week 5, and I am definitely feeling a little bit sore, but not in a completely withered and just fully depleted kind of way. You know, one thing that oh god, there's such poo right there. So one thing that I've noticed for sure, I just cannot handle Neutrogena sunscreens around the eyes. You might not have that issue at all, but let me tell you, I've tried all the formulas. I really had high hopes for the Hydro Boost. I really thought that was going to be the one, because it's so like my Shiseido Synchro Shield Ultimate Sun Protection Lotion. But I noticed that when I did tight line that shit right up to the eye line, it migrates. It migrates and it starts burning. It's just not a good situation. So right now, the only sunscreens that I have tried that don't cause like a prolonged burning or that sort of smudgy, oily, greasy layer over the eyes, like from migration, the ones I am using right now that do not do that are the Shiseido Synchro Shield and the Bondi Sands face lotion. Now, I have heard people say that the face and the body formulas of the Bondi Sands are identical. I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna try the body one at some point, but let me tell you, the face version is already so affordable, and I really do like it a lot. It's a broad spectrum, SPF 50, fragrance free. It has an interesting texture to it, but it spreads nice. It blends in nice. It has a little bit of a shine to it, but I don't hate it. I really think it's a wonderful option. And I imagine it would be very well tolerated. Woo! I'm on another hill, so these thighs are working. Okay, I'm back for now. One thing that I'm gonna try to do is not talk when I'm on like the really steep upward hill sections, because I don't think that anyone wants to hear me gasping for dear life. I mean, even now I haven't quite Haven't quite caught my breath yet, so it's still a little annoying, but whew. Anyway, I've been on a big sunscreen kick because I started noticing liver spots, sunspots, age spots, they're all the same thing, on my cheekbones. And that was just kind of disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm sure that there are some people who are, I don't know, fulfilled enough and self-actualized enough to where they could authentically and truly mean it when they say that, you know, they embrace every sunspot, every liver spot, every age spot, and for them it's just correlated, like every sunspot is just a sign that you enjoyed a pleasant, happy memory in the sun, so they're things to be embraced and celebrated. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm one of those people. I see it and I'm like, oh shit. Now, don't get me wrong, sunspots, liver spots, like, if that's all it is, you know, and you get confirmation from, at the bare minimum, like your family physician, but preferably a dermatologist, then it's not malignant or anything, you know what I mean? But it's this, if you have a family history of skin cancer, then it's at least a sign that you have gotten enough sun exposure in your life to where you probably are cooking some precancerous growths somewhere on your body, in my opinion at least. That's like a correlation. They're not a causation, or they're not related as far as being the same thing, but there's probably a correlation there. If the age spots and the sunspots are popping up, then you're probably cooking some pre-cancer. But something amazing that I learned from Dr. Dray, my favorite dermatologist on YouTube, is that your body actually has built-in mechanisms for, if not fully clearing out sunspots and liver spots and age spots, at the very least minimizing them or reducing their pigmentation. I think she said the same thing is true for early fine lines and early wrinkles that have been worsened in part because of UV exposure. But the kicker is, apparently your body cannot activate these like self-repair processes specifically for sunspots and UV-induced early fine lines if the body is also facing the burden of daily UV irradiation. And that's something to keep in mind. Like, yes, mentally the sun is such a blessing, and to a certain extent, trivial sun exposure is already enough for your body to reach its threshold of internal vitamin D production. You really don't need much at all. In fact, Dr. Dray and various other PhD and MD level experts on YouTube that I've seen have all affirmed that there actually have been studies that have shown that wearing sunscreen does not stop your body from getting enough UV to produce its vitamin D threshold. Isn't that crazy? And you have all these people that are like literally spreading their legs in the morning and filming themselves sunning their taint. You don't have to do that. But that does make me feel at least a little bit better about the sunscreen. And it shows you, you know, there won't always be a study for everything that we wish there was like clinical research on, but at least for some of these things, scientists and doctors and researchers have considered some of these issues. Okay, real quick. I think I might have gotten my first like eye roll from someone. Someone who's probably like, God, these fucking wannabe vloggers. Well, sir, I'm doing this for me. I just heard this like exasperated exhale. It's like, I'm not filming you, sir. I'm talking about sunscreen. But anyway, oh, real quick, there's my cursed bench. Not paying it any mind. Out of sight, out of mind. If you want to know my anecdote about that bench and why sometimes, today I'm fine, but sometimes that bench still haunts me in a rumination style. I have a video on that. It was actually my last walk through this little, woods trail. I'll put that in the description below. But anyway, so what Dr. Dray was saying is that your body actually can clear out liver spots, age spots, sunspots if you wear sunscreen. Then it can self-repair, self-regulate, but it can't do both at once. So that's where there's an element of limited internal biological resources, which I just find relatively interesting in the sense that, like, I guess it comes down to things like burdens and thresholds, you know what I mean? Priorities, that's a better word, priorities. Age spots are an indication of past irradiation from the UV radiation coming from the sun. And I want to be clear on that. UV is a radiation byproduct from the sun, because the sun is not a divine magical orb of life-giving essence. The sun is by our standards, like just as people on Earth, an incalculably large thermonuclear reaction that is going to put off every known wavelength of radiation on the EM spectrum for billions of years. And thankfully, our atmosphere and our magnetosphere filter out the gamma rays and the X-rays and other things that would, like, if not kill you on contact, kill you within, days, weeks, months. UV, except for UVC, still gets through. Thankfully, it's low enough in energy that it won't outright kill you. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. If you leave your arm out of a window on a sunny day, within a few hours, unless you are gifted with beautiful, rich, deep melanin in an even layer, like someone from the continent of Africa or other regions of the world where you're, blessed with that depth of melanin, you're gonna get a literal burn. Literally a radiation burn. Okay, I think I've rambled on this enough. The point is, your body can clear up sunspots if you reduce or eliminate the UV radiation burden consistently, like daily, over the course of several weeks to months, and hopefully as a habit moving forward in life. The reason that your body can't do both is because it has to prioritize either repairing the radiation damage that UV exposure is doing to you on a daily basis. Like, it has to prioritize, like, okay, today UV has damaged the DNA and damaged the various beneficial substances within the skin to a certain extent, and the skin has to prioritize, like, we got to do the best we can to mop up as much of this mess as possible. There's no extra bandwidth to look backwards and to repair some of the damage that was not able to be fixed. The sunspots, the liver spots, the fine lines, the collagen in early stages of degradation. I imagine it would sort of be like working in a bureaucracy, Like, you don't want to let things slip through the cracks, but it's just, sort of a fact of life as you keep getting new and new workload. Unless you are impeccably organized, you're going to have files that you forget about. They end up under a pile on your desk and you forget about it, even though that's technically an older issue that should be resolved before you move on to new things. You got like 60 new files dropped on your desk and you forgot about the old one. It's going to end up unresolved. Emails that you forget to respond to. Like this burden builds up. In this analogy, that burden shows up as like the sunspots and whatever. But it's like when you're wearing sunscreen every day, it's like you're putting a pause on the extra burden that's dumped on your desk, and you have time to start finding all the old emails you forgot to respond to, all the old phone calls you forgot to respond to. And you can like clear all that shit out, you know? Earlier, I saw a really funny review. It was for that Vital Proteins collagen powder, and someone actually gave it a 2-star review because they were like ranting about how it didn't mix well in fruit juice, like orange juice and stuff like that. And I was just a little confounded by that, because it's like, sir, that's your fault. Like, if you've done any research at all into collagen powders, then you know that people use them as dairy creamer alternative. Dairy creamer. Like, would you put Coffee Mate in orange juice and expect it to jive well together? That's just foolishness. And so he took stars off on the review because he was like saying, you know, the product says it's unflavored. And he was like, I acknowledge that that doesn't mean flavorless, but if something says unflavored, I expect it to not taint the flavor profile of whatever it's mixed in. And I guess to a certain extent, you know, that's not... Like, I've seen far more unreasonable low-star reviews over user error. But, I don't know, I just found that interesting. I'm like, because to me, the collagen powder, just even being sourced from cow, like I think of it as like a creamy substance. And so, to me, that's almost like, sir, like, would you put milk or that like cornstarch based Coffee Mate dairy-free creamer powder, would you put that in orange juice? No, that sounds disgusting. Then why would you put a scoop of bovine sourced collagen powder that everyone on social media uses as a coffee creamer alternative? Why would you put that in orange juice and expect it to taste exactly like orange juice? You know what I put my collagen in, and there's no weird flavor profile conflicts? I add a scoop to my vanilla flavored whey protein. It's masked perfectly. And you know why? Because the flavor profile of vanilla whey protein is creamy based. That one's not quite as absurd as some that I've seen, but there are times where I really wish that I could just... Now, I would never do this. This is just me, you know, having those petty, intrusive thoughts. But times when I wish that I could like rewrite people's reviews to be like, I'm giving this 1 star out of 5 or 2 star out of 5 because I'm very dense, honestly kind of stupid, impatient, and unreasonable, and I committed obvious user error, and I'm blaming the product and the manufacturer for it. I mean, that's... If you decipher the deflecting on some of these reviews, that's basically what people are saying. The extreme example And I don't know if this is a troll review. This was on samsclub.com. I don't think of sams.com as a place that would really attract the trolls like moths to a flame. You know what I mean? This review was for that like old antique style paper-based tape. You know, the type that like every classroom in the 90s and 2000s had. It's that tape that like the primary feature of it that comes to my mind, number one, is that it is so easy to rip because it's like paper based. And then the second primary feature, in fairness, that would come to my mind for it is that you can write on it and it shows up well, like with a Sharpie, again, because it's like paper based. There was a review when I had to buy some of that stuff for work purchasing. Someone gave it a 1-star review because they said that it did not hold up nearly as well as Gorilla Tape. And you know, Gorilla Tape is from the makers of Gorilla Glue, so it's supposed to be like a stronger or a competitive alternative to duct tape. Duct tape. And someone is literally giving this poor, like, contractor painter's paper tape a 1-star review because it's not as durable and strong as freaking Gorilla Tape. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's hard to tell if people are trolling or if there are actually people in this world who are just that stupid and unreasonable. Even though I'm being a little bitchy right now, I do believe in grace and patience the best that you can in day-to-day life. And one thing that reminds me of is do not reply to toxic comments, because you know, whether you get angry and lash out back, pointing out how absurd they are or rude they are or whatever, whether you lash out or whether you point out in a very respectful, just neutral tone the ways in which they're crossing a line and how, you know, it's just not cool, and wishing them well, they're always going to just take the fact that you responded as validation that they got under your skin. Because to them, it's like, even if you're wishing the best for them because you're explaining, like, yes, I know that troll comments stem from inner self-hatred or inner dissatisfaction. And that the inwardly directed self-hatred or self-dissatisfaction or insecurity is externalized and projected out. And that's a horrible way to live. It's a toxic way of dealing with those feelings. And so, you know, like, I really wish you well, and I hope that you eventually get to a place where you don't feel that way on the inside, or where you're better able to manage those feelings to where you're not like trying to ruin people's day. It's not worth it. Even if you put out something really reasonable and fair and truthful like that, it's still feeding the need that they have to feel like they elicited a response. So it's just not worth it. Don't even do it. I caught myself this week responding to some troll comments. And you know, the thing also about troll comments, whether it's just blind shotgun style nastiness, you know, where it's sort of indiscriminate, just anyone who says anything that I find remotely within the realm of what I want to shit talk or comment really just vulgarly on, or in a bullying and harassing style on, you know, that's like a shotgun approach, where if you just say a keyword or express enjoyment for a certain show, character, etc., they're gonna come for you and try to ruin your day. I had someone who was, you know, it was on that channel, Emily D. Baker. I don't know if you follow. So there was someone who they had left a comment or something, which I could tell was snarky, because Emily D. Baker wears these lenses that block out certain wavelengths of light, and I looked it up. It's a real product category that's supposed to help people with ADHD. By blocking out certain wavelengths of light, it's supposed to help people with severe ADHD be better able to maintain focus while working with computer monitors or electronic devices. And as a live streamer for Emily D. Baker, that makes complete sense. So this person was like, why is she always wearing sunglasses inside? And I could tell it was like 50-50. This is either going to be a genuinely curious comment, like are those sunglasses? That seems so socially different from what I'm used to. Or the other 50% chance I figured was that it was someone who was just looking to stir shit. And so I left a comment where I was just explaining what they are and what their medical intended purpose is, and that's why Emily wears them. And this girl was like, well, I have ADHD too, and you know what I do? I take Adderall and I'm perfectly fine. And I was like, girl, oh my God, you know what that's like? That's like saying, that's like if you were able to successfully treat your depression with a low dose of Zoloft, hence everyone else with every varying degree of depression in the world, well, you know, they shouldn't need additional secondary treatments and medical devices and coping devices and other things to help them, because you were able to control your depression with 50 milligrams of Zoloft daily. It's like, you know, that's a sign of someone who is just looking to shit talk. Okay, well, I'm gonna go home and shower now, and it's still early enough. I have time to have dinner and get caught up on some editing finally, because I did not get caught up last night. But yeah, let's go get cleaned up and enjoy the rest of the day. The point is, do not respond to troll comments. Troll comments, you know, if you identify that there's a chance it's a troll comment, just leave it be. Responding is just giving them what they want. Don't even try to be thoughtful about it. It's just gonna backfire, and they're just gonna steal your energy. It steals your energy and gives them energy. So let people, you know, be attention seeking. Let people fight their fake fight. But anyway, let's rest and recover. Enjoy the rest of the week. I'll see you soon. Bye.